And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord in Making Headlines. Experts discuss global debt and its relationship to Barbados and the Caribbean. The Anglican Church to intensify its focus on youth empowerment. Scores of tourism employees benefit from customer service training. And in sports, FIFA rejects a proposal to increase the teams for the 2022 World Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
And in our top story, world economists are concerned about the rapid rise of global debt in recent years. Now, as it stands, it is estimated at $186 trillion and at the country level, and small island states like Barbados are being affected. Now, to cope with the situation, the island has established a debt restructuring program under the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation, or BERT program. And that's why the Central Bank of Barbados has placed debt as a focal point when it hosts its 6th annual Caribbean Economic Forum, featuring distinguished visiting fellow and professor of economics at the University of Michigan, Dr. Linda Tissar. Now, local economists and the who's who from the local business community are expected to be in attendance at this important forum, which addresses an issue that not only affects businesses but people at every level of the society. Now, to give us some additional details about what will be happening at tonight's forum is our Ryan Broom, who is standing by live at the Courtney Blackman Grand Salle, where it is scheduled to get underway at the top of the hour. Good evening, Ryan. Ryan, good evening.
Good evening, Lisa. Good evening, viewers. We are here at the Central Bank of Barbados for the 6th Caribbean Economic Forum, where we will find out from Dr. Linda Tissar how Caribbean countries can survive in this rising world of debt. With me to help talk about that is the Chief Corporate Communications Manager with the Central Bank, Noveline Brewster, and Graham Clark, the Executive Director of the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries. But we'll start with Ms. Brewster. Noveline, tell me about this debt. A major issue right now. I know Barbados is obviously going through its transformation with the BERT program. Tell me about this topic tonight.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good evening, Lisa. Good evening to all our viewers. We're delighted to host this 6th Caribbean Economic Forum. We're set, as you can see. I hope that we have some members in our studio audience, and we're operating from the set from which we'll be airing the forum tonight. We're delighted also to have hosted Dr. Linda Tissar, who is a professor of economics at the University of Michigan. When I say we, the Central Bank of Barbados, for the past 2 weeks, she's an international economist. And as you rightly said, our topic tonight is, in a world of rising debt, how can Caribbean countries stay afloat? This is a very pertinent topic, as you said as well, for us here in Barbados and indeed the Caribbean. We are aware that our government is working assiduously to reduce the level of debt. And across the world, we said in our ad that the global debt stands right in 2017, it stood at US $184 trillion, which is the equivalent of $86,000 per person. And if I can contextualize that a little bit more, the size of my mortgage or your mortgage. So we are heavily indebted. And who owes this debt? Individuals owe this debt, corporations owe this debt, countries owe this debt. You may know that the three biggest indebted countries in the world are Japan, China, and the USA. And only this week, the head of the Federal Reserve in the United States of America, when asked to comment about the issue of the rising world debt, he said it was a major issue. He didn't see it as a crisis proportions. So it is something that we should be focused on as a country and as a region, only if because of our own circumstances, because we in the Caribbean are heavily indebted as well.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clark, your organization, a lot of service-oriented businesses. What's happening in terms of the BCSI? How is debt impacting on businesses in Barbados right now?
Well, thank you, Ryan. And from the outset, I want to say on behalf of the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries how happy we are to be part of this economic forum this evening. The Barbados Coalition is really a coalition of 55 service organizations Well, we're ranging from all the major service sectors, even to the new emerging economies and emerging sectors. So to answer your question, I think anecdotally we know that our members are actually setting aside money to deal with the potential losses that they're encountering, certainly from the domestic restructuring exercise. We're all looking forward to the negotiations related to the external debt. I do believe that it's going to be important that we build consensus around the way forward. As we look, BERT, in the BERT program, there's one T in there for transformation, and how do we transform the Barbados economy? It's going to be an issue not just for the public sector and for government, it's going to be an issue for the private sector and for all of civil society organizations. Every individual, I think, needs to be on board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Thank you very much, Ms. Brewster. Well, there you have it, Lisa. The 6th Caribbean Economic Forum, the top of the hour, it will be coming live on CBC TV 8, along with other stations across the region. It's back to you in the studio.
And we'll all stay tuned. Thanks so much, Ryan. Well, the parish of St. Lucie is excited to be kicking off next year's celebrations for Vision 2020 Regathering. Those celebrations will begin in January with an array of activities in the island's northernmost parish, and St. Peter is expected to maintain the high standard set when its turn comes in February. Now, the promises are coming from MPs for both parishes, Peter Phillips of St. Lucie and Colin Jordan of St. Peter. They were speaking during a joint town hall meeting last night at the St. Peter Parish Church. Mr. Phillips says they've set up a parish organizing committee to coordinate the activities.
I think it is a golden opportunity to give every single resident of a particular district the opportunity to share and to give back to their community in a big way, while at the same time creating that avenue for economic, not just prosperity, but making a big contribution to our various economies, both at the local level in terms of what happens within your the various constituencies, let's say for shopkeepers, for sports people, and so on, and also for the country at large. Barbados needs that kind of investment at this point in time.
And explaining the purpose for the town hall meeting, Mr. Jordan says they want the residents to supply the ideas for the celebrations.
The ideas that will form part of this celebration need to come from you, need to be owned by you. They need to be your ideas that the parish organizing committees work on, flesh out, in many cases incorporate you into, because Minister Phillips spoke about these subcommittees, and there will have to be subcommittees that will actually execute the ideas that will come from you today.
Well, the Anglican Church is ensuring that at-risk youth are not left behind as it works towards its vision for 2019 of nation building. Anglican Bishop of Barbados, the Right Reverend Michael Maxwell, says during the church's recent synod, a number of key areas had been highlighted for attention, including enlightening and empowering the youth. And this will be done through a pilot project carried out by the Social Justice Commission of the diocese, along with other groups within the church.
They will join together with the Youth Commission of our diocese as well as the Family Commission to develop a program which is entitled to Empower Youth for Positive Living. And it is a situation where we have envisioned that we need to take early intervention within the lives of our young people. The church will intervene in going into the schools and identifying or being told about those individuals that are having some challenges, and to see how best we can lend our support within those various schools.
Well, the Anglican Bishop notes that early intervention is key to ensuring that these challenged youth do not fall through the cracks. He says that they will be engaging with them to better meet their needs.
We know that our young people are going through a very challenging period in our world. They have so many difficult choices to make. And so our church must be such that it can enable not only the spiritual development of our children, our youth, but also to enable them to discover and design a response to other needs that they are facing within their lives.
Well, just about 100 tourism industry employees are now better equipped to offer quality service that will give Barbados a leg up in that competitive market. This after they recently completed the heartfelt Guest Care to Welcome the World program, which was offered by the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Education Foundation and Virgin Holidays. On finishing that program, which included a focus on diversity and inclusion, participants were given the title Certified Ambassadors. Now, speaking during the certificate ceremony at the Island Inn Hotel, Labour Minister Colin Jordan reminded them that they play a critical role in the island's tourism industry.
Take that title and use it to motivate yourselves. I want you not to see it as just maybe two fancy words put together. Certified ambassadors. You are ambassadors for the country. As a matter of fact, persons who work on the front lines in tourism often have more interaction with persons from outside of Barbados than those who are titled or styled and paid as ambassadors for the country.
Meanwhile, President of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, Patricia Afonso Das, notes that our region is often referred to as the most tourism dependent worldwide. She hopes to see this change through further training and people development initiatives like this one.
Rather than being the most tourism dependent in the world, we are referenced as the world's most desirable, most tolerant and inclusive, most welcoming, most highly trained, most facilitative and investment friendly, most environmentally sensitive region in the world, where genuine service is delivered by regionally proud, highly trained professionals who understand the critical importance of their role and their importance to the success, sustainability, and economic viability of the region.
Barbadians are being reminded of the importance of good customer service at all levels. According to Guest Experiences Manager with the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., Marcia Aline, it is particularly critical in the tourism industry. And Ms. Aline also addressed that certificate ceremony of the heartfelt Guest Care to Welcome the World program. She says a negative service experience can be a deal breaker for a visitor.
And as a destination that's dependent on tourism, we know that every time that a customer or a guest gets wounded for life, that is one repeat guest that we've lost. And that person, with the advent of social media, will tell thousands and thousands and thousands of persons about their negative experiences with Barbados or with any other destination or with the companies that we're representing. And the last thing we want is to have that spread. We want the positive experiences to be spread.
Well, with the official start of crop over just weeks away, local entertainers are gearing up for what many believe will be an excellent year. CBC caught up with several of them at the Bejarama held at Three Houses Park. Sharika Griffith tells us more.
One song on finals night and the return of a single competition for the sweet soca and party songs are two of the major changes announced for Crop Over 2019. Entertainer Terencia T.C. Coward believes it will be an excellent year.
There are a number of changes in place. I'm looking forward to see how they're going to work out. As it relates to me and my contribution for Crop Over 2019, I'm still in the working process. Not quite solid on anything at this point in time, but I do believe that before the season comes to its climax, that I will be fully ready to bring some music to the people. I took the year off last year, and I'm interested in getting back.
Adrian Clark and Natalie Burke said they're in preparation mode for the Sweetest Summer Festival.
So you know for sure I'm going to be looking at the pig of the crop. You never know, I might try my hands at the soca one or two. But it's good to see that lots more guys are going to be taking part. A lot more guys are going to be taking part this year. As for me, I am getting my songs ready.
Normally people have been hearing one song from me, but I'm aiming for more than one this year. We'll see how it goes. Either way, I'm going to have a great crop over because this is our culture. This belongs to we, and I plan to enjoy myself.
And that's precisely what patrons at the Vintage Bram did as they moved along to the sweet songs of RPB and Edwin Yearwood. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Regional news now, and just days before a registration amnesty starts in Trinidad and Tobago, more than 90 Venezuelan migrants have been given permission to stay in the Twin Island Republic. We get more in this TV6 report.
Scores of Venezuelans who were held in a forest camp in Palo Seco today are being processed by immigration officials at the Siparia police station. The Ministry of National Security said its border patrol exercises resulted in the discovery of the camp in the forested area along Beach Road, Palo Seco, where 93 Venezuelan nationals were camping. Amongst those detained this morning were men, women, and children. They were later taken by the TTPS to 3 different police stations: Siparia, Irene, and Santa Flora. Many of the men have already been processed at Siparia and have been allowed to leave the station. The women and children arrived within the hour from the other stations to Siparia to be processed. National Security Minister Stuart Young is commending the agencies involved in the exercises for their continued commitment at improving border security.
Well, the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce is taking some steps to build the country's capacity in disaster risk reduction within the business sector there.
This follows a successful training of trainers workshop in Martinique last month, organized by a number of overseas-based partners.
Last month, we were trained by trainers from the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction and Unite Caribbean, which is a private sector alliance, or it's a network that seeks to achieve resilience among our Creole-speaking countries. So Dominica, St. Lucia, Haiti, and Martinique came together for this thematic working session so that we can bring this value to you today. Over the past years, and primarily since Hurricane Maria, we've paid special attention to disaster risk reduction. We know all our businesses faced challenges in the recent times.
Fabian was speaking at the opening of the disaster risk reduction training, which will focus on mapping and assessing businesses' disaster and climate risk and developing a risk reduction strategy and continuity plan.
Over in Guyana now, the mother of a prisoner who died at the Mazurini jail after consuming a liquid believed to be alcohol is calling for justice for her son. She is questioning the information surrounding her son's death, insisting that there is more to his demise than she is being told.
28-year-old Gary Stewart met his demise allegedly after drinking a substance while working on a quarry owned by a well-known construction company. He was working as a plumber while incarcerated, as he was expected to be released in November of this year. The dead man's mother, Sharon Barnwell Petty, recounted what happened when she received the unexpected call on May 11th.
I called and I said, "Is this Sharon Barnwell, Gary's mother?" I said, "Yes. It's Gary's mother." I said, "Okay, Moms. Well, sorry to tell you, your son died." So I say, "Gary Stewart?" So yes, Gary Stewart. Gary Stewart drank some substance, not liquid, some substance, and he died. He and some other prisoners, but by they rushed Gary Stewart to the hospital. The hospital which in his Bartica pronounced him dead.
A reliable source told Nightly News that Stewart, along with 7 other inmates who were working in the quarry, drank the substance in the bottle. The other inmates were admitted to the hospital and have recovered. Still trying to come to grips with her son's death, Barnwell said she does not believe her son drank the contents of that bottle.
28 years, I'm going to watch a bottle, like I pick up the bottle and say, okay, what I'm saying, well, this child, they say he drink rum, he tastes it, as I said, he didn't taste it. Gary know it's not rum. He's 28 years and still going to drink that thing. And the bottle, if you see this bottle, a ugly bottle, a dirty looking bottle.